What's up guys, Ruppy here bringing you my Week 4 game for the Grand Pokemon League, the draft format league hosted by the Ion Game Corner and by association the Ion Pokemon League. For Week 4, you've probably once again noticed that I'm back to doing a replay again as opposed to live Wi-Fi battle. What's going on here? Okay, so my Week 4 game, I had home field advantage as my, home field format, as my Olivine Beacons were ready for a singles battle with the Lavender Town Spectres, coached by Kira, or QB as his, in-game name says there. So basically what happened is, I was originally gonna do this live, but we had a few, scheduling conflicts, and ultimately we ended up basically having to play this game a little late at night, to the point where I wasn't really feeling up to doing a live recording at that point because, as I said, it was so late. I was starting to feel a little tired, so I decided to pass on it and figured I could just do a replay this time, just to get it taken care of. Hopefully you guys don't mind. I can still find a way to make this entertaining. So anyway, so the Lavender Town Spectres roster is as follows: Sableye, Jirachi, Feraligatr, Muck, Tapu Bulu, Cresselia, Ninetales, Victory Bell, Machamp, and Tentacruel. Quite the interesting roster, to be perfectly honest. The mons he brought being Sableye, and that is Mega Sableye. Ninetales, I was expecting him to bring the Alolan Ninetales because he mostly runs his little Ninetales Victory Bell Sun combination for doubles, which is his home field format. But I guess he wanted the actual firepower this game. Machamp, Alolan Muck, which isn't really too surprising that he's running the Alolan version of Muck as opposed to the original version. Tapu Bulu, and Jirachi, which I actually was not expecting him to bring. I think this is actually the first game he actually brought Jirachi to be perfectly honest, which was kind of an interesting note. So the team I put together to kind of counter this goes as follows. We have Galvantula, Spider Dance, who I actually ran an interesting set. I ran Thunder, Bug Buzz, Volt Switch, and Thunder Wave, no Sticky Web, and kind of feeling inspired by something I saw in a one of the games for the A-Drive Army Battle League's D-League, I think it was, which was quite interesting. I ran Buginium Z on Spider Dance, because I wanted to give it a shot, and it was definitely a fun thing to run, that's for sure. I didn't really see much use for Sticky Web this game, since he has a relatively slow team for the most part as it is, so I really had nothing I necessarily needed a speed drop on to outspeed. Lazy Boy, my Snorlax, basically the same Curse Lax set I ran the previous week, except with a few EVs shuffled around between defense and special defense. Made sure that this thing was max happiness this time to avoid the same issue we had last week with the Canalave Geologist. I'm still kind of speechless with what happened on that. Anyway. Frisk my Tapu Fini. Pretty much running the same exact set I did the previous week once again against the Canalave Geologist, except instead of Scald, I went with Moonblast this time, just because I really didn't see much of a reason for Scald on too many things when Moonblast was actually the better option offensively, and I decided to keep Nature's well, actually no, I did Scald for Nature's Madness, because I wanted a way to kind of hit the things that would actually resist Moonblast from Frisk, like the Tapu Bulu, I guess to some degree, the Ninetales, especially if I was trying to bypass Aurora Veil if he brought the Alolan version, Jirachi, the Crests, which he didn't even bring, those kinds of things, basically. Victini, my team captain, basically ran a Scarf set this week, running V-Create, Bull Strike, U-Turn, and Brick Break. Brick Break was there mostly just for the Aurora Veil, which didn't even come, so Brick Break kind of ended up being a useless move. But really, Scarf Victini, bring it in, click V-Create. I think that's kind of a general idea there. Tower Defense to Celesteela, running Max Physical Defense, Rocky Helmet, basically similar to what I brought against the Canalave Geologist once again. Leech Seed Protect, Heavy Slam, and Flamethrower. Actually, was that? No, that was not the exact same set. Well, okay, so this one was actually a little more physically defensive. Well, it's not the exact same set, but same general basic idea to some degree. And then I have Ripper the Garchomp, which is just a straight-up Swords Dance Life Orb set with Earthquake, Dragon Claw, and Poison Jab for the likes of Tapu Bulu. So, there's the team rundown, and let's go ahead and get into this battle, shall we? Alright, so Kira and his Lavender Town Spectres are going to go ahead and issue a challenge to me on my home field. My Olivine Beacons are going to lead off with Spider Dance, the Galvantula, as he decides to lead off with Rem, which is his Sableye. Now, knowing he was probably going to Mega Evolve, I saw no reason to T-Wave, and I really did not want to burn my Buginium Z here, just because of the fact that I saw no point to it. This thing could actually take a Savage Spin out fairly well from full health, so I'm just going to go ahead and Volt Switch out, and I proceed to go straight into Frisk, knowing there's really not much he's going to be able to do to me. So Misty Terrain goes up. He ends up going for Knockoff to get rid of my leftovers, which is a little annoying, but I think Frisk can actually manage without it. He's going to switch out here, because knowing Sableye can't touch me, and he ends up going into Tapu Bulu. Now, I knew his Sableye was not going to stay put, so no matter what he brought in, I decided to fire off a Nature's Madness, knowing that I could get a big hit off on something, take out half its HP. Bulu is going to be able to get a little bit back because of the grassy terrain, though I do appreciate it sharing said terrain with my Tapu Fini here. So I'm going to withdraw Frisk. It still has a lot of use for me, especially against that Mega Sableye. And I just go straight into Tower Defense, knowing that Bulu probably does not have a move it can really touch me with. It proceeds to go for a Horn Leech, and Tower Defense is going to eat that up fairly nicely. Bulu gets some... This is kind of weird because it kind of bounces out a bit. Bulu gets some HP back from the Horn Leech. It loses a lot because of the Rocky Helmet, and then the Grassy Terrain kind of brings it back up to where it started to begin with. So he's going to get Bulu out of there, and in's going to come to the Jirachi now. I probably should have expected that and gone for a Flamethrower, since that would have hit Bulu super effective anyway. I just went for the Heavy Slam, figuring whatever he brought in wouldn't be able to really stand having Tower Defense's massive weight come crashing down upon it. So, Rachi ends up going for a Fire Punch, which, that was good to know it had that. It's going to take Rocky Helmet damage, and I'm going to be able to fire off a Leech Seed to counteract the help us getting back from Grassy Terrain, and allow Tower Defense a chance to get quite a bit of HP back as well, which is always appreciated, especially since I'm running the Rocky Helmet and not any form of leftovers due to the League's item clause. So, I decided to go for a Flamethrower now, and this next play I'm actually a bit thankful for. He switches Jirachi out. I don't know if he was predicting that or if he realized Rachi was going to be hurting itself more in the long run with Leech Seed and the Rocky Helmet. So he brings in Ninetales here, and I am just thankful that this thing was Drought instead of Flash Fire. The Drought's going to allow that Flamethrower to do a little more damage to this Ninetales, though the Grassy Terrain's going to nullify some of that. And, yep, the Grassy Terrain wears off this turn. If he'd have been Flash Fire, this could have been disastrous. But now I'm going to get Tower Defense out of there. I'm going to go into Lazy Boy, knowing that with the Thick Fat, I can easily eat up hits from this thing. I dodge a Fire Blast, which, I apologize for that. So he's going to go for a Will-O-Wisp now to try to hinder Lazy Boy a bit. I'm going to fire off this Return, and even burned, this Return is going to do a nice chunk of damage. I'm not too concerned about the burn, knowing that I do have the Resto Chesto in my back pocket on this Curse Lax. He's going to set up a nasty plot right in my face here, as I proceed to fire off an Earthquake, and the burn is going to make sure, unfortunately, that this Ninetales is able to linger around one more turn. So, slight problem, but it's one I'm feeling I can manage. He goes for another Fire Blast here. Sun boosted +2 Fire Blast, and Lazy Boy just eats it up, fires off this Return, no problem, and down goes the Ninetales. So, 6-5 advantage to my Beacons right out of the gate. He still has a turn or two of sun left, but that's not really too concerning to me. He goes into a champ, and Lazy Boy is not staying in on this thing. Lazy Boy wants to be lazy, not work out. So I'm gonna go into Frisk here, as I set up the Misty Terrain again. And he's gonna go for Dynamic Punch. So that tells me this is a no-guard Machamp. That's a fairly decent chunk. Thankfully, because of Misty Terrain, I do not get confused at all, which is very nice to have at my disposal. He's gonna go into Muck as I fire off this Moonblast with Frisk. And that Moonblast does a fairly decent chunk to Muck. Its special attack falls, which honestly does not really do anything for me because Muck's a physical attacker. I'm gonna get Frisk out of here because I do not want to start taking poison hits. I go into Tower Defense here, as he does in fact go for the Poison Jab. It does not touch Tower Defense by virtue of its Steel typing. So now he's gonna get Muck out of here, not wanting to contend with Celesteela. He goes into his Mega Sableye, which is kind of intriguing. But this is why. He saw the lead seed coming, and I give him props for that. So, unfortunately, Tower Defense is going to end up seeing itself, and that's just going to benefit this ever-annoying little troll just a bit more. So that's one thing I'm unfortunately going to have to be playing around, especially since Tower Defense is giving this thing back a lot of health from the lead seed. I stay in and fire off a Heavy Slam because I want damage off on this thing. I need to get it worn down. He goes for the knockoff, which is going to get rid of my Rocky Helmet, but his Mega Sableye is going to be taking a nice amount of Rocky Helmet damage as well. And from this point, I feel like his only real, that's the only real offensive option. So I'm feeling a little safe. Well, Misty Terrain wears off. Not that it really affected Tower Defense anyway because it's part flying. I go back into Frisk here to 1, reset up the Misty Terrain, 2, have Celesteela not get worn down any further because of its own Leech Seed, and 3, because of this. He fires off a Confuse Ray, which is blocked by the Misty Terrain, and knowing he really can't touch me from there, Mega Sableye retreats once again. We go back into the Muck now as I fire off a Nature's Madness this time, expecting the switch. So this Muck is going to get worn down quite a bit, which is fairly nice. I mean, it wasn't the best of moves, but he goes for Protect here, as I proceed to just fire off a Moonblast. I'm feeling like I can probably sit in here and handle this thing to some degree, especially since it can't poison me because of the terrain. Well, I wanted to fire off a Moonblast anyway, but after seeing him Protect, I decided to change my mind just to be on the safe side. I go back into Tower Defense as he goes for Knockoff, which does a fairly good chunk to Tower Defense, unfortunately, despite the fact its item is already lost. And Tower Defense is going to be able to outspeed and fire off a Heavy Slam on this thing at least. Does a pretty good amount of damage, but unfortunately, Tower Defense is going to fall as Alola Muck's knockoff gets a crit there, but considering the damage it did before, that crit was fairly useless, let's be honest here. My Misty Terrain is going to vanish. But now I send in Victini, who is looking for blood. Victini has not gotten a kill, actually, up to this point in the season. And it wants to fix that. I go ahead and fire off a V-Create. He protects, just to get a little more Black Sludge recovery back. But I'm perfectly fine here, because I know V-Create will wipe out just about anything he brings in at this point. So, he's going to go into the Mega Sableye, as Victini goes ahead, fires off this V-Create. Check this out. I love V-Create's animation in 7th Gen. That's actually pretty cool. My stats are going to drop as Mega Sableye goes down. I was originally going to keep it in because, well, he brings in Tapu Bulu here. I was thinking about keeping Victini in and firing off another V-Create because I am Scarfed, so the speed drop is nullified. But I ultimately decided to switch because I just wanted to be absolutely sure he wasn't trying to pull something like Scarf Tapu Bulu on me. Lo and behold, he does not. Instead, he actually fires off, uses the Gracium Z, and is going to fire off a Bloom Doom on me, which was a bit surprising, not going to lie. I wouldn't have expected him to Bloom Doom Victini, He was probably hoping Bloom Doom being a powerful hit, especially if it's coming off, I don't know if it was coming off a Leech Seed or Horn Leech, or if he had Wood Hammer as well. But Lazy Boy, unfortunately, is going to be the one that eats it, and unfortunately goes down. As much as I hate saying that, but... So I'm down 5-4, but that's not going to last for too long, because Spider Dance is going to come in now. And I think it's time to do a little bit of Z dancing myself. So I'm going to proceed to burn my Beginnium Z right here, knowing Tapu Bulu is in range, and check this out. Spider Dance decides it wants to do a little dance called the Savage Spin Out. So there goes that spider thread. We're going to wrap up Tapu Bulu nice and tight in that cocoon, and let's unravel it nice and quickly. Sorry, no slow cutting jobs here. So Tapu Bulu gets cut down. In's gonna come to Machamp now. And I'm just gonna go ahead and get Spider Dance out of here, because I feel like even with the Beginnium Z burn, Spider Dance with its speed and Compound Eyes should be able to do a pretty good amount of work for me still in this game. Frisk is gonna come in. We're gonna get rid of that grassy terrain, because I'm tired of Hitmon's getting health back from it. Frisk is gonna eat that Stone Edge from Machamp before he switches it out, which... It was a hit I didn't like taking, but I fire off a Moonblast. I probably should have Nature's Madness. I was considering it, but I end up proceeding to fire off the Moonblast. I get a special attack drop, which I don't think really bothers this Jirachi, though, because I believe it is a physical attacker. So I'm going to switch out and send Victini in now, who kind of wants a second kill. He ends up going for the Healing Wish, so Rachi's gonna do itself in and deprive Victini of a kill, which, hurts a bit, but this Muck is going to get the health back, and that kind of bothers me a bit, because, well, I do say that, but Victini's gonna go ahead and U-turn out now, seeing that discretion is the better part of valor, and we're gonna get out of here. Thankfully, he doesn't have the pursuit, or if he does, he didn't use it there, expecting me to switch. I go into Spider Dance here as he proceeds to knock off, which doesn't do anything because, well, doesn't do anything item-wise because I got the Beginnium Z and I already burned it. And it does a lot of damage, though. On the plus side, I am going to be able to fire off a Thunder on this thing and do a fairly good amount of damage to it before Muck's going to fire off this Poison Jab. And Spider Dance is, unfortunately, going to, dance its way back into its Pokeball. It is done for the game. But it did work for me this game. It did a pretty good amount of work. So, seeing this Muck sitting in here, I decided to send Ripper in now. Because Ripper's ready to basically wrap this game up. He goes for the Protect, which is gonna come back to bite. Well, no, I go for the Earthquake. I thought I went for Swords Dance there, but I guess really at this point I realized the Swords Dance actually wasn't necessary. Life Orb Earthquakes are gonna... Well, now I go for the Swords Dance anyway, because I don't think this Muck's gonna do anything to me. And I want to make absolutely sure I get the kill on this thing. He goes for the knockoff, which is gonna get rid of my Life Orb. He does get the Poison as well off the Poison Touch, which is, a bit unfortunate, as I proceed to hurt him a bit with Rough Skin to kind of nullify his Black Sludge, recovery. So, unfortunately, that was a thing that happened. This turn, I believe I went for a second Swords Dance? No, I went for D-Claw. I don't know why I thought I was actually... I should have expected the Protect and just gone for another Swords Dance, honestly. I guess it really didn't matter in the long run. But this is the part where he's going to Shadow Sneak, trying to get some extra damage off and trying to get this Garchomp out of here. Ripper's going to be able to survive on 14 HP. I'm going to get some extra Rough Skin damage. And Ripper is going to launch this Earthquake right at Muck. And fare thee well, Muck. It was nice knowing you. So down goes Muck. Ripper is actually going to... No, it does go down to the Poison. I thought it barely lived, but I guess my memory's a little fuzzy of this game. But all he has left now is the Machamp. So I'm going to send in Victini to go ahead and add another kill to his total. It is going to come to Machamp. And this Machamp is about to kiss the battlefield goodbye as Victini goes ahead, launches a V-Create at it, and that is that. So, great game, Kira. It was a fun match, and I know, when we talked afterwards, you, were kind of laughing about the whole, Beginnium Z thing. To be fair, it was kind of a fun little, piece of tech I wanted to try. But my Olivine Beacons are going to walk away with a 2-0 win as we continue to try and bulldoze our way through the season and hopefully be able to make playoffs and make something happen this year. So, thank you guys so very much for watching. I have been Ruppy, and I will see you guys next time. Take care.